Good morning. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellow, Reverend Sara LaWall. It is my great honor to serve this beloved community, and we're so glad that you have joined us this morning for our annual Apple Communion Sunday, a Sunday that I look forward to every year, a celebration of the abundance of our community. Today's service has an interactive element to it. You will be invited to create a small table altar that represents community, family, love, connection, all the qualities we want to honor at this time of year. And we'll be sharing our Apple Communion together. So don't eat your apples during the service. Save them so we can all enjoy them together. There will be a time in the service for you to gather a few objects for your table and to go and grab your apples, but you can do so now and throughout the service. That's the beauty of Zoom. And to connect with community today during this welcome, if you haven't already, if you're able, I invite you to switch over to Get and just give everybody a big virtual wave and hello and say hi to all your friends as if we were greeting one another in the space of our sanctuary if we were together in person. I want to take a moment to welcome all the newcomers among us, those who have been worshiping with us for just a few weeks, or if you're brand new today, welcome. We know it takes courage to check out a new community, and we're just delighted that in this time of virtual worship, folks continue to seek out spaces where they can meet other folks, and we're glad you've joined us today. We invite you to introduce yourself in the chat so we can welcome you, and to fill out a newcomer form. That link will be posted in the chat as well, so we can keep you up to date with all that is happening in our faith. And we do have so much that is happening, so many ways to connect with one another, to meet new people, perhaps even people you haven't met because you've attended 2 different services. We have meditation and yoga and small groups and social hours. So we invite everyone to check out those opportunities that are posted weekly, and all of the information is on our website. I have a couple announcements that I want to share with you. Congratulations, Sharice Davis. You are our Asylum Quilt Raffle winner. You get to enjoy that beautiful quilt created by Joan Williams. And thank you to all who purchased tickets, $2 to help Rommel purchase his car and other car-related expenses, and he is just delighted. And our drive-by parade was wonderful yesterday. If you are a newcomer, we are running our series for newcomers called Inquirers. It's a series of 5 sessions that shares more about Unitarian Universalism and our fellowship, and we invite you to join us after the service. We meet in our separate Zoom room, and we'll post the link to that room when the service is over today. And I also want to highlight a couple weeks from now, we're going to do a drive-through tree trimming. We will have set up our Christmas trees outside in our north parking lot near the entrance, and we invite you to drive through and deliver an ornament. You don't need to buy anything. You can make something. You can give away an ornament that you no longer want or need, and we'll create and decorate our beautiful Christmas space together with our drive-through tree trimming. Lots of stuff that's happening today. Whether you are Zooming with us on the road, from across the city or across the country, welcome. It is good to be together today. Whoever you love or however you identify, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, and wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. As we gather together each week, even virtually, we offer up a land acknowledgement, a recognition that the land upon which we stand, upon which our church and homes exist, is the ancestral land of the Shoshone Bannock and Shoshone Paiute tribes who inhabited a vast region, including much of Idaho. And we acknowledge those ancient tribes whose names have been lost in history. We offer this acknowledgement as a recognition of the longer history of the land long before colonization, and as an uncomfortable truth. And in our discomfort, may we push ourselves to think beyond the mere acknowledgement and the words to what actions we might take to forge deep relations with local Indigenous leaders and communities. May we listen to their truths, working to bring justice in every way that we can, making space for them to re-inhabit this place and giving them back the resources they need to heal their communities. I invite us all in the spirit of community to take a moment to breathe together. Fill your body with breath, knowing that as we breathe, we do so with all of our community together. And as we share the words of our opening poem, I invite you to hear those words, the thines and thous, as expressed to the abundance and beauty and belovedness of the community that is this fellowship. Thou art my song, thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in her. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-driven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep, to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea to each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless dream.
I've been broken, I've been blessed. Life's so beautiful, but sometimes it's a mess. Within the chaos, there's a calm. There's peace in the eye of the storm. Even after darkest night, the sun will rise with each new morn. Open the windows and break down the walls. Let the light shine in. Find the wholeness that was there all along, and let the healing begin. Time to rest. Times have been the worst, they've also been the best. Hidden in the heart, there's a fire, a young within the yin. Let love light the path ahead. Lift up the lamp that shines within. Open the windows and break down the walls. Let the light shine in. Find the wholeness that was there all along, and let the healing begin. Gilead to make the broken whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the wounded soul. We've been so lost, may we be found still walking on up to higher ground. Deep in the struggle there is joy. The obstacle is the way. Let justice be our guiding star until we reach a brighter day. Open the windows and break down the walls. Let the light shine in. Find the wholeness that was there all along, and let the healing begin. Open the windows and break down the walls. Let the light shine in. Find the wholeness that was there all along, and let the healing begin.
Each week, we light our flaming chalice, a symbol of our free faith, a beacon of hope, love, and justice. We join in this lighting in solidarity and community with hundreds of other Unitarian Universalists lighting chalices today in homes and in virtual worship services, reminding us that we are connected to one another and to a larger community of faith and love. We welcome our young chalice lighters, who ground us in our hope for a brighter future, even in the darkest of times. If you have a chalice nearby, you are invited to light it with our young chalice lighters, Conley and Greta Watson, as they light the chalice from our home on 20th Street. You are also invited to share in the chat where you have lit your chalice this morning. With our collective chalices lit in all our spaces, we offer you this call to worship adapted from Leslie Takahashi. Please feel free to join in responding on the line. We are connected.
When we wish to laugh, we are connected. When we need to mourn, we are connected. Across a nation divided, we are connected. Even across the limits of our imagination, we are connected.
When we gather at our tables, crowded or not, we are connected. When we share our joys and sorrows, we are connected. When we remember that we are loved and when we share that love, we are connected. Even when we dance alone in a room, we are connected. Come, let us worship together.
Jim, we're not hearing you, and I don't know why, but I'm going to have you see if you can figure that out and try again.
I'm gonna look at Sara for a thumbs up. Okay, there we go. We're playing with some new toys this morning, so I appreciate your patience. Okay, so I invite everyone to cozy up for our time for all ages. This morning, I am really excited about beavers. I don't know if you've ever seen one before, or if it's just been in a cartoon, or you've only seen the effect that they have on the land that they live on. Beavers chew down trees with their huge, powerful teeth that I'm very jealous of. They can eat through tree bark, that's amazing. And they're masters at construction. They build dams and lodges in the stream waters, and they use mud and trees, sorts of debris that they scavenge around them. They're very resourceful. They are so important to the natural community that they live in because they create and sustain wetlands that help many, many other species thrive and survive. So I invite you to, whenever you have some time, go learn more about beavers. Go look at a video of them chewing on stuff. Whatever strikes your fancy. This morning, our story is about one of these generous, insightful beavers. So this is a story inspired by Robert Fulghum and the poetry of Gretchen Haley from Foothills UU Church. And the story goes, there once was a wise beaver. Here she is, in her glory, with her cool tail. She was traveling all through the mountains of her homeland. And she was just checking on the dams that her family had built over the years, making sure that the land was mushy and how it's supposed to be, and that the stream was healthy and strong. She was at one such of these dams in a beautiful, clear river, creek, and she was looking across, analyzing the dam that was made, when she noticed, caught in the branches and the muck and the debris, was a huge, precious stone, bigger than anything she'd ever seen before. When she knew that this stone could change her life, she was so happy and grateful because she knew this stone was worth a lot. Well, she's hanging out at this river, building things, and the next day she meets a starling, who's a type of bird. It's kind of an iridescent, beautiful bird. And this stranger, this starling, is just like her, traveling through the mountains. But he's very hungry. And so she sees that he's hungry, and she's happy to share her food with him. She opens her bag, and the starling looks in and sees the stone. He knew this stone would help him to be able to afford to eat all of his favorite foods. And his mouth watered at imagining all the incredible flavors and all the ways that his life could be filled with so much goodness and comfort. Instead of food, he asks, can I have that stone? And the beaver looks at him and without hesitation says, of course. Just like that, the stone was his. Did you expect her to say yes like that? What would you do with a precious stone? Would you give it away very quickly? Sometimes it's hard to know the value of what we have and what that gift would mean to someone else. The starling was so happy, and he ran away quickly, afraid that she would change her mind. I'll leave the stone there for a second. Afraid that this elder would change her mind and take the stone back. So he flies away with it. Beaver is hanging out by the river, continuing to do her job, do her important work. And a few days later, the starling appears again, carrying the stone in his beak. "Take it back," he says, and he gently lays it at her paws. "Instead, I hope you can give me something even more precious than this precious stone. I hope you can give me whatever it is within you that made it so easy for you when I asked to just give it away." What do you think was in her that she was able to do that? Why do you think she made that decision? What values do you think she was practicing when she made that decision? Maybe giving freely what you have been freely given, not keeping more than you need. You have two gifts to give. You have what you can give, and you have how you can give it. And the only thing that matters is that your gifts are true to who you are, true to your values, that is, and are sustainable for you. Something you can safely and functionally repeat. That beaver has a lot to teach us. I wonder, who are your biggest teachers for giving? Pause, I want to show you this altar that I made for our special apple communion. And I want to give you my answer. I think that's enough. Who are your biggest teachers for giving? And I want to say, for me, my answer is the children of our congregation, who over the course of 9 months brought in diligently last year their spare change and raised $50 to give to donate to a group that they thought was important, and the work they're doing is important. And they made the decision to use this money to give to our pantry here at Booth to help us give more food out into our community. So this, for me, is one of the biggest teachers is our children on giving. $50 is a lot for preschool through 5th grade, I want to say. I want to know what your answer to that question is. And also, what are your favorite memories of giving in our church community? Your favorite memories of giving here. My second answer is my favorite memories are of all the people who bring food to potlucks and who take the time to help feed those out in our community who are in need, who are houseless or facing food insecurity. Like Sharice Davis, she gave me this. As well as Caroline Bevington, who really diligently cooks food for those who are unhoused. So those are my two answers, and I want to invite you to go and find one or more objects that help you answer that question, and bring your object as well as your apple later in our service to our community altar ritual. So be ready with a couple of objects. Children and youth are going to remain in our service today because it is a joyous multi-generational service. After the service, youth are invited to join their advisors in our youth Sunday chapel space. The link is going to appear in your chat function at the end of service. I think I point this way for chat for you. I don't know. At that same time, after our service, children are invited to remain in this worship room for a 15-minute check-in and game, and we're going to send adults to their breakout rooms and stay in here. Many of you might have your own giving jar at home, which is a jar or mug that you can collect change in, that you specifically share with others. And this is a great time to go search for some change, or to get out a scrap of paper and write on it one way that you help others And you can add both of those to your giving jars at home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'm so impressed to hear about the generosity from our children and their gift to our pantry. And I want to tell everybody that even in this time when our building has been closed, we've been doing a lot of work to make sure that our food pantry food gets shared with our wider community in a whole bunch of ways, including with a group that is serving folks who are living on the street every Monday down near Rhodes Skate Park. And so your $50 actually is enough to make bag lunches for all the people who use that service every week. And that's a huge gift. So thanks for being part of this community and helping share our gifts with our wider community in Boise and the Treasure Valley. It's a really awesome thing. Giving of gifts is easy for some of us. It was really easy for the wise beaver, giving away that precious stone. And here at this fellowship, we practice that kind of generosity every week. We remind ourselves to freely give what is ours, to give to our community, to give to the greater good. We take up a weekly offering to support the work and ministries of our fellowship and to share that support with our plate partner this month, the dedicated people of Planned Parenthood and their commitment to care and education and advocacy for all people, no matter what. If you'd like to make a gift for our offering, we invite you to go to our website at boiseuu.org and click Give in the very top right corner, fill out the donation form. 25% of the unpledged plate offering will be shared with our plate partner at the end of this month. And if you'd like your gift to be handled differently, please use the special contribution box and just make a note for us in the comments. Of course, your checks by mail are also very welcome. When we give, we're sharing our commitments to the whole. We're lifting up our interdependence and our commitment to collective thriving. Your generosity is always greatly appreciated. It is a way that we remember to lean on one another and to invite others to lean on us in good times and in hard times. The offering will now be received.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load that you have to bear, that you can't carry, I'm right up the road and I'll share your load. If you just call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Wow, what a treat to see Mike Lemieux performing that song for us. I hope you were singing along like I was. I can't help but sing along to that song. And friends, I dearly miss singing with all of you in person. It's a wonderful joy to picture your faces out here where we'd all be dancing and grooving and snapping together. That song, Lean on Me, has always made me think deeply about this community and about the way that we lean on one another and the way that we invite others to lean on us. And it's hard to see and notice, particularly in this pandemic time when we're so isolated from one another, or we're only seeing one another for moments here and there on Zoom. But I am inspired weekly by the ways in which you all are showing up in each other's lives. And I want to hear about more of those, but I love hearing how Carrie and Rachel Murphy and Rose Murphy were making pie crust together with Carrie's wonderful Mormon recipe passed down through generations, and how Patricia Heeb and Barb Alexander are doing art together every week, and Patricia's finding her inner artist, and Deborah Smith and Miriam Waito also doing art and poetry together. I know there are so many ways that so many of you are connecting with one another and being present for one another and leaning on one another. And that is exactly what Beloved Community does. And it is just heartwarming and joyful to hear about. I want to invite you to share in the chat if you've been connecting with the boofers in your life. What have you been doing? How have you been connecting with one another? Because in this particular season, this season that's usually kind of crowded with people and dinners and community, we need to connect with one another. This is the first year that we will not have a big Thanksgiving dinner with lots of family or friends. This year it will be just the four of us, which is a little bit strange for me because my whole life, our Thanksgivings have been big tables filled with people. When Michael and I were first married, we'd have 2 Thanksgiving gatherings, one on one night with my extended family and the next night with his extended family. And when we lived in Los Angeles, we'd gather together with our dear friends who had this wonderful big house, and all of us had young kids, and we'd rent a bounce house to keep the kids occupied all day while we adults cooked and talked and watched the parade and football. I often think that because I spent much of my life as my mother's only child, just the 2 of us in her house, I always loved those holidays that allowed for that feeling of a full house and a crowded table. And Thanksgiving, for all of its noise and chaos and everyone's must-have foods and the foods that other people just can't stand. It's always been one of my favorite holidays because it has been filled with people I love, with a lightness and a sense of joy and connection. And in this pandemic Thanksgiving year, my heart mourns the loss of that crowded table. Even though it was loud and messy, and the hours spent cooking far surpassed the time spent eating, my heart also mourns the loss of this apple communion ritual in person. There was always so much vibrant energy in the room on this Sunday. A playfulness filled the air with love and gratitude for all that we share together, all that we have to offer one another as a community, and joy for the ordinary things of life like apples and the anticipation of biting into that apple together. I know we are all missing that kind of connection this year, in part because it's yet one more loss, one more sacrifice piled up on top of so many others. Many of us have made that tough decision to downsize our Thanksgiving celebrations, to stay at home and stay safe, choosing protecting our loved ones, ourselves, and our wider community over a crowded table. Right now, our crowded table is made up of bits and bytes, held together by heartstrings and vocal cords, surrounded by computer screens and cell phones. I imagine that right now, if we were all invited to a virtual community potluck, a few of us, or many of us, might bring dishes of lament and struggle, as well as dishes of blessing. Perhaps a few of you might have to share your roasted hybrid burnout, or that mashed Zoom fatigue topped with guilt gravy. But we'll still pile on an extra helping of green gratitude casserole because we know it is good for us and we need it. And quarantine sourdough, loaves and loaves that multiply with the love of our hands and our hearts, trying to stay busy when we can't leave the house for 14 days. And then the desserts come, and we top our sweet pandemic pies this year with more leftovers than usual, with extra whipped hope, because there's always room for hope. And really, I know that our less crowded table this year is but a small sacrifice in the grand scheme of things. Like the beaver in our story, I am trying to cultivate generosity. Like that beaver who, without blinking, gave away the precious stone that she knew could change her life, knowing deep down that giving away that stone, that sacrifice, would change her life more than keeping it. I'm giving away my expectations for a holiday season because I know, like all the wisdom stories tell us, that the more we give of those things we hold dear, the more we get in return. I know deep down this year and every year, it's not about what we do or what we eat or even what we give. It's always about how we're giving it. Giving love in a new way, cherishing our friends and family in new ways, all the while creating new traditions and capturing this strange, sometimes surreal story of Thanksgiving during a pandemic. But I also know we don't have to give up all that the crowded table represents. We're not giving up the love and joy and gratitude, the pleasure of good food, even with less company, the warmth of furry friends and fireplaces, the ridiculous games we might play this year over Zoom. The great paradox of this moment is allowing ourselves that pleasure in the midst of pain and heartache, peace in the midst of instability, deliciousness when the world outside feels dark, and gratitude in the midst of brokenness. To cultivate those qualities is not to ignore the loss and grief of life and of these particular times, but to welcome all that they teach us about the fragility and abundance of life. Because our crowded tables are more than the people who are around them. They're about the love that we bring forth together. They're about noticing and naming that abundance and joy, the hope and connection that continues to surround us, honored in our rituals and traditions, and in the new memories we will create. The memories that will become the stories we tell around our crowded tables decades from now. May our tables always be crowded tables. Amen.
Our reading today is a special community poem composed by members of our fellowship during the virtual poetry soiree held back in September. Participants responded to a prompt inviting them to reflect on the phrase, "I am from." We share their collective words with you this morning to remind us all that this is our crowded table. These words give us an anchor into who we are and with whom we share this beloved community. Here is We Are From, a Booth community poem.
We are from a milk box at the side door, from a burpable Tupperware and Pyrex. We are from a screened-in front porch with a wicker swing and a huge oak tree that listened to us.
We are from hollyhocks in the alley we made into dolls to play with. We are from folks who'd rather take aimless drives in the country and impromptu picnics by roadside streams. The ice cream parlor at the end of the drive was as close as we ever got to a Disneyland adventure.
We are from chickens in cages, farm fresh eggs and chicken feed, from dusty farmhouses, wind blown. We are from cotton fields.
We're from hard workers who get her done. We're from Methodists being baptized. We're from Amherst, Texas, and fresh hot buttered corn on the cob.
From siblings who all went to college, awaiting the next generation to see who will choose to carry on. We're from strong but broken people, sitting in a ramrod straight line on the couch, waiting for grandparents to arrive. Small, wrinkled, dapper, and warm.
We are the keepers of disarrayed Seder chests, with pictures of people we don't know and Grandpa's poetry.
We are from the north coast of Ohio, where the Irish married the Polish. From long winters with miles of snow to shovel. We're intimate with apple trees, pruning, picking, eating.
We are from the bad jokes and worse puns, from not swimming within 30 minutes of eating and going to sleep, Sunday drives in the old Plymouth, Mom liked the popcorn and ice cream, Doyle's ice cream parlor, and the concession stand feasts.
We are from city blocks and alley picking, country roads and cow milking, book learning and afternoon naps.
We are from vinyl, Bruce Springsteen and Neil Young, New Jersey, wooded, sandy, salty air, Cape Crystal. Hypocrite church members, good booth members.
We are from the Northwest, water, hay fields, that sundowner sign, at the bridge leading into town. We are from family and love.
We are from the soil and sun, taking in its nourishment, saying hallelujah when we remember, and praying for a better world from which all our children can make poems of praise and thanksgiving.
We are from this beautiful, beloved, bountiful, crowded table, and here we make room for everyone.
Let our hearts not be hardened. To those living on the margins, there is a room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Too long we have wandered, burdened and undone, but there is room at the table for everyone. Let us sing the new world in. This is how it all begins. There is a room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is a room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is a room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened. To those living on the margins, there is a room at the table for everyone. This is how we gather in. For everyone.
We have always been a community of welcome, a community that makes room at the table where all our gifts are welcome, no matter how small. And since we can't be together today to bring that welcome table to life, we want to create a ritual together that invites us to create our crowded tables, reminding us of all the gifts of life, anchoring us to the connections of the people who matter most in our lives, of those things that remind us about what we love in this world. Rituals honor our sacred connection to one another. So we are inviting you to gather up a couple of objects and to begin to create a table altar, maybe one that you'll keep alive throughout the next week or so. A table altar that reflects your connection to community, to family, to the earth, to gratitude, to whatever it is that you want to bring to the forefront of this week. I have filled my altar here with lots of mementos and objects that remind me of this community. I have here our bridging lantern, the lantern that's been used as we walk our bridgers across the bridge, our high school seniors every year. And another object that is really dear to me, I have this teacup from Charlotte Tompkins' memorial service. It always sits in my office and reminds me of Charlotte, and that's on my altar amidst a number of other things, many objects handmade by many of you. So as the music plays, we invite you to gather your objects and also get your apples ready for the apple communion time together. Start to assemble your altar, and then you're invited to share in the chat one of your objects and what it represents to you, or a couple of objects and what they represent to you. Your worship leaders, we've created altars as well and filled with our sacred objects, and we'll spotlight our altars so you can see them, and then we'll look for a few of you and spotlight some of your altars as well as the music plays. Let us build our crowded table altars together. Your altars are so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing them. We got to spotlight a few. I hope that you all can go through the gallery view and see some of each other's altars. I wasn't expecting to get so emotional being able to see the beautiful mementos and the way that you are bringing your altars to life. And I invite you to keep them up as you're able throughout this week as a touchstone to all of the things that connect you to your life and to this community. As we begin our Apple Communion ritual together, connected by our crowded table altars, we're reminded that the act of communion is both individual and communal. Communion rituals anchor us to those deeper truths, to our spiritual center. They remind us of our holy interdependence to the earth and to one another. They nourish our bodies and spirits. Part of the beauty of all communion rituals is the act of joining together, of sharing the moment together while you're getting in touch with that which is holding you. So just like we do when we're in person, I'm going to invite you to get your apple ready, but don't bite it just yet. I also want to thank Diane Schwabi for these beautiful apples that adorn my altar and Jem's altar. They are apples from her apple tree. So you're invited to get those apples out. And we're going to try an experiment here with the Zoom. We're all going to take a bite together, but I am going to invite you to unmute yourself in just a moment. And we'll hear the cacophony of our communion ritual together. But just take a moment for now to take that apple in your hand, to feel the weight of it. Maybe give it a sniff and see how it smells. And then if you're able, I invite you to go ahead and unmute yourself. We've given everyone permission to do that. If you can switch to gallery view, you can do that. And on the count of 3, we are going to take a bite of our apples together in our apple communion ritual. All right, is everybody ready? I see most folks on my screen have their apples ready. Okay, 1, 2, 3, bite. Beautiful, you did it.
Wonderful.
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 Enjoy your apples.
Yeah.
That actually worked. That worked really well. I'm very impressed by that. We all got to hear a little crunch. I got to hear a lot of mms and yums out there, so I hope you continue to enjoy your apples together as we finish up our service with our closing reading today, this prayer. Like our service, is one of those traditions that has been in my life for a long time. Since I first heard it in church 15 years ago, it's become the blessing our family says every year at our Thanksgiving table. I never tire of hearing the timeless words from the late Reverend Max Coots, honoring the bounty of friendship, like the bounty of this season, finding connection, community, and abundance in the obvious splendor and in the ordinary, hidden beauty of life, even in the midst of this strange pandemic Thanksgiving season. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people.
For children, who are our second planting, and though they grow like weeds and the wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are.
Let us give thanks for generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as their blossoms.
For feisty friends, as tart as apples, for continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them.
For crotchety friends, sour as rhubarb and as indestructible. For handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn. And the others as plain as potatoes and so good for you.
For funny friends who are as silly as Brussels sprouts and as amusing as Jerusalem artichokes.
And serious friends, as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you through the winter.
For old friends, nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on as fast as radishes.
For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings.
And finally, for those friends now gone, like gardens past that have been harvested, but who fed us in their times that we might have life thereafter.
For all these, all of you in this beloved community, we give thanks. For the bounty of this community and for all who make up our crowded tables of love, of joy, of abundance and generosity, we share with you this special video montage. Thank you to all who shared your crowded table pictures.
You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be a mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be a street light showing you the way home. 'Cause you can hold my hand when you need to let go. Want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring this back together when the day is done. If we want to go, gonna have to sow the seed, plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want to garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Yeah, I want to have with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on sow the seed. Yeah, I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. The door is always open, your picture's on my wall. Everyone's a little broken, everyone belongs. Yeah, everyone belongs. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. And bring us back together when the day is done.
Well, I could watch the video again. I think I've watched it 1,200 times this week in putting it together, which was such an utter delight to look at all of your faces and all of those memories and all of those pictures of this beloved community that we have built together. I invite you to place your hand over your heart for our closing blessing. May our crowded tables always be with us, filled with the gifts we treasure and those we cultivate and can share with the world. May we always remember there is room for everyone in this bountiful, beautiful, and ordinary world. May we remember all we carry with us as a precious stone, the gifts that are just ours, and the gift we long to offer the world. And may that giving bless us all the more. Blessed are we all. Go in peace, and happy Thanksgiving.